the new album, To Live, To Kill, To Live, is coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a little bit of a confusing title, considering the last one was called To Kill, To Live, To Kill.
Yeah.
But it does follow on lyrically and story-wise from the previous album. Is that correct?
Definitely.
And this is based on a book. Yeah, this is based on, was it the book you wrote?
Yeah, it's actually right here.
Oh, look at that. You can get it in paperback and everything. It's not just digital.
334 pages.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And is that available worldwide? Can anybody get that?
Yeah. They can order it from our website.
Okay,
more
good.
or less from the website or from the Sound Pollution website. They have it as well.
Awesome. And that's available in English as well, because my Danish is terrible.
Yeah, this one is in English, both English and Danish. I actually did the translation myself, so.
Okay, good.
But I believe that my English knowledge is good enough for the translation. But I'll let the English people be the judge of that.
I've never met a Dane that speaks bad English, so I think you'll be okay. So let's talk a little bit about the album then. Musically, what would you say is different this time than To Kill, To Live, To Kill?
I think we might have been searching towards the ends of the spectrum instead of just staying within the normal boundaries. I mean, we did explore some strange boundaries on the first album as well, but on this one, there's some even further boundaries being sought out. In the song Slaughter in the Desert Room, for example, the whole chorus is more or less Norwegian black metal. We never did that shit before. But the thing is, we wrote both albums at the same time. So it's not really that different, but the difference is in the sound and the production of the album. It's really a huge step forward.
Okay. Did you use a different producer this time?
No, not at all. But because of the coronavirus, Denmark locked down on March 11th or something like that. And I was supposed to go to Jacob Hansen's place and sing for a couple of days, but we used the coronavirus instead. So we bought some equipment, like a compressor and some equalizing stuff that Jacob told us that we should buy. And then we recorded all the vocals in Christian's basement, where we also record all the guitars and the bass and the keys and all that shit. And this meant that I wasn't the last one to perform on the album. Normally, I get 2 days. In the end, when everybody else has recorded that shit, they became drinking. I'm standing there. Okay, I've got 2 days to sing the whole album. And no matter if the voice is cranky or if it's super fit, you just have to perform. And a lot of the old albums have suffered a bit from this because, you have exactly 16 hours to perform everything. This time I just called Christian and said, well, today's not going to be the day because the voice is cranky and I don't feel like it. He said, okay, cool, let's meet up tomorrow. I came down to his house the next day and we recorded like 3-4 hours. Nothing crazy, but just enough for the weeks probably. And I could do a high pitch. I could take everything over and over again because we used 2 months instead of 2 days. So the vocal part of this album is just up here, where the vocal was always the weakest part. I think that's the main difference.
Cool. I think Manticora is a band that's always played by its own rules. It's never been afraid to experiment or anything like that. And so I was very interested when I saw the opening song, or 2 songs, is nearly 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
That's a difficult way to get into a new album.
Yep. The funny thing is, it was actually at some point before we removed a lot of stuff, it was 19 minutes. We really cut a lot of shit off from the songs this time to try to analyze ourselves and say, do we need this riff? Do we need this part for the song to be fantastic? Or would it actually be more fantastic if we remove this part? So we removed 4 minutes of music from it. And we realized that, starting an album with a 15 minutes progressive song is like shooting yourself in the foot with a fucking shotgun. But we also thought to ourselves, you know, it's our ninth album, and we've been through so much. We're not here to please anybody. We're here to write music for ourselves. And if people like it, it's cool. If they don't like it, well, don't listen to it. This is what you get. We're not commercial. We don't write music to get a hit on MTV or anything. We're not big enough. So it was just, okay, cool. Let's put it into the as the first song, also because it fits the storyline. So it had to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to do what's best artistically and be yourselves creatively. And like I said, Manticora is a band that you just can't. A lot of bands say, "Oh, we're not this, we're not that," but Manticora really can't be pigeonholed. It's a little bit prog, a little bit thrash, a little bit. It's a little bit of so much that you just can't. It's Manticora, basically.
I actually had the same conversation with Frank Albrecht from Deaf Forever magazine in Germany, and he was, you know, pulling his hair out, saying, I simply cannot find a band that I should compare you with, because in the old days it sounded a bit like Blind Guardian, maybe a bit like Halloween, and then some Slayer influences, and then some Metallica stuff, and a lot of different stuff. And he said the closest that he could find was Nevermore, but then again not. And I told him, you know, the thing is, we come from so many backgrounds, and we never set limits to our music. We never say, we can't do that because it has to be power metal. Just say, okay, if it works, then it works. This is Norwegian black metal. Well, let's make it fit into the music, because that's what we want to do right now. So, I mean, it's prog, it's thrash, it's power, it's death, it's Norwegian black metal, it's anything, and even some pop music sometimes. The ballad, or what you want to call it, it sounds like poppy stream theater.
Yeah, but why not? If it works, if that's what works best for the concept and for the artistic merit, then why not?
Exactly. And I'm too old to give a fuck anymore. You know, you have to be labeled this, you have to be labeled that, because we can't sell the album if there's too many styles. And you know what? If you have a label, then sell us or don't sign us. We don't give a fuck.
But it's let's say it's from what I heard, just eating the beast. I mean, the video is amazing for eating the beast. That's something really, really cool. How much creative input did the band have with that, and how well does it reflect the story of the album?
We wrote the whole video ourselves. Created the small what do you call it, the visual blocks where we have
the storyboard.
The storyboard. That's the word.
Yeah.
And wrote everything down ourselves. And then we worked with this guy who actually did the video from the previous album as well. I played football with him, and he's newly educated from the Danish school of movies. So he's like a green leaf. He's not really he hasn't done that much before, but he's really cool. He's a young dude, and he looks at our ideas and turn them around in his head. He doesn't listen to heavy metal himself. He's a pop guy, and he always says like, so can you do this, or maybe we could do this instead? And so, hey, it's not a pop video, it's a heavy metal video. We have these things, and he says, yeah, but what if we do like this? And he has some new angles that that reflects his point of view, his artistic point of view on it. So it's 70% us and 30% him, I would say. But the only thing that I missed on the video is actually getting the pigs into the victim's booth, you know, where he's lying there tied up and all that, getting the pigs in there and having a shot at the same time. The problem is when we came to the farm where we shot the video, the pigs, the big male pig and two of the female pigs had just had piglets like 3 months before, and the farmer told us that if I let these pigs in there now, the big what do you call a male pig? Do you have a special word?
Pig.
Okay, the male pig is gonna go a hawk. Yeah, he's gonna go fucking crazy. He's actually gonna be eating that guy. So, oh fuck, what do we do? So we had to grab some stuff from the net with the pigs to resemble the storyline where he's getting eaten by the beasts. You know, but more or less we got everything we wanted in the video, and we edited everything ourselves together with Casper, the guy who shot the video. And I was really thrilled about the young girl playing the victim, the rapist victim.
Yeah.
I didn't know her. It was somebody who, Stefan, the guitarist, he knew some guy who went to school with her or something like that. And she said, yeah, that's okay. And she's a newly graduate as well from the movie, what do you call it? Actor school or something like that.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, it's cool. And I didn't expect anything. And she just came out and performed like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty satisfied with the video, I must say.
Yeah, I would be too. But
Thank you.
the thing is, it's great because like you'll think I'm joking or lying with it, but I love Danish movies.
Okay.
Lars von Trier, Nicholas Winding Refn, so on and so forth. Those are my favourites. So it's almost like having like a new Danish auteur on the scene with it. So
yeah,
and it fits in so well with such a unique band as well. But yeah, it's really really cool. I want to pick up the book now.
Well, I can send you
one.
if I just get your address, you can. I wrote you an email actually to get the Skype address. So if you can just send me an address, I'm gonna send you a copy. No problem at all. It's free for the press.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'll try that again. This time the artwork is done by David Trost. I believe Trost. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, toast with the guttural R, toast.
See, I read the subtitles. I don't pay attention to the language in Danish movies. I can't remember. Did he work on the previous album as well?
Yeah, he made both albums.
Yeah.
And actually, you can see it when you see the front cover. It's kind of the same actually, just with different colors and then different scenes from the book. But it's set up in the same way, with the main person in the middle and then the sword coming in from the bottom, and these small snippets of the various stories.
Yeah, it's very cool artwork because it's weird because it's so dark, but at the same time it's very vibrant. It's like Reanimator or something.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a tattoo artist, so that's what he does for a living. And we just saw some of the paintings that he has done. His real paintings, like big, huge fucking paintings, and with details like you wouldn't believe. He really has a good hand when he's painting. So we wanted to have since we needed a picture for each song inside the booklet. It would cost too much money because each painting he normally does costs 1,000 euros. So that would cost like 100,000 Danish kroner. So that was too much. So we told him, well, can you make this cover artwork for approximately 1,000 euros with all the booklet, new pictures from each? And he said, yeah, we're going to do it for you. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good price.
Like you mentioned before, the pandemic has kind of ravaged the world at the moment, and it might have given you more time creatively to get the vocals right. But how difficult has it been to promote this upcoming album?
Pretty hard.
Tour.
Yeah, pretty hard. We wanted to play some shows. We were actually supposed to play shows in May. They got cancelled. Right now in Denmark, it looks okay. So we have 4 shows in Denmark in September.
Okay.
But with the limited capacity. I mean, in Copenhagen, we're allowed 310 people sitting down at the concert.
Okay.
That's gonna be weird,
It'll be weird, but it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, absolutely. But they can still cancel everything within the next 14 days. I don't know anything about it, so I guess we'll know a week before. But it is difficult. I can't find a tour for us at the moment, and I'm trying. I work for instrumental management here in Denmark, and I'm in contact with all bookers, all promoters, all agents around the world and Europe as well. I simply cannot find a proper tour at the moment because things just been rescheduled for 2021, and all the venues have begun getting filled up for 2021 as well. So it's hard, but I don't know. We just gotta cross our fingers and work hard to find some shows.
Yeah, and I definitely hope something can be done, not just for the scene in general, but for yourselves, because I say this album sounds so interesting, and that I'd love for you to come to the UK at some point so I can experience it for myself. But I think the UK, the USA is just not happening. Sweden as well.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be some shows happening in Germany and Austria, a few others. But again, it's very
few that's the shows. I think they have shows in Sweden and Finland and Norway as well, but very limited capacity for the audience.
Yeah. Something that's I've noticed over the last couple of years is that there seems to be so many bands coming up from Denmark, and with lots of different styles in that. I mean, you have the veterans like yourselves and Artillery and a few others like that, but there's some really awesome bands like Based, Björka, another one that I can't remember the name is, but there's plenty of good ones coming up. Why is it that you think at this point Denmark is starting to really put its stamp on the metal scene? Because in times gone by, people, when they thought of Europe, is more Germany or Sweden, Norway, etc. And now Denmark seems to really be, like I say, putting its mark on the scene. So what's going on in Denmark to warrant all these good metal bands all of a sudden?
I think they have been there all the time, but I think, and that's my personal point of view, that we are so fucking, what do you call it? We're so safe here in Denmark. If you don't succeed with your education, you can get a new education, and you get paid by the government for studying and blah blah blah. And when you get fired from a job, you can always get 4 years of welfare, blah 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 blah. So I think that a lot of musicians wanted to be musicians in the old days, and they made bands and they performed and all that. But it was like, let's drink some beers at the same time and let's perform and see where it drags us, where it takes us, and maybe we don't want to be completely what do you call it?
Self-sufficient.
No, it was just people have not been completely serious about it, because there was always this backdoor and the government would take care of you if you didn't succeed in your stuff.
Yeah.
I think that because of the new times, with the labels having a hard time, the bands having a hard time, nobody's selling anything, you have to perform 1000% to become somebody, to be somebody, to go through all the layers of 70,000 bands. And I think a lot of the young bands actually realize that. We did ourselves. We've had some problems in the early days when we played for the first 3 albums. Whenever we played, people were halfway drunk on stage and all that. And the performance on stage reflects that you have had 5 beers. I mean, you wouldn't get your ass into a car and drive a car if you had 5 beers, because 5 beers would make you a lousy driver.
Yeah.
And I had the discussion with the old guitarist and said, hey, 5 beers is not going to make you a better guitarist. It's not going to make you hit that right note. It's going to make you a horrible guitarist on stage. Mm-hmm. And people will actually see through your mistakes on stage and see a drunk guy standing there, and they will say, I'm not going to go to the next concert. I think a lot of people realize this. And I think the young bands are so much more serious now than we used to be 15 years ago. And we're serious now as well. Nobody in Manticora are drinking before a show. Never. I think that's the main difference. But that's my personal point.
And with music as complex as Manticora's, you can't really afford to drink because you have to concentrate on it.
Absolutely. It's all about entertaining people. And if you give 110%, you get 110% back. But if you're standing there feeling, hey, I'm self-sufficient, man, hey, I'm so fucking cool, people are going to say, okay, fuck you, I'm not going to go to the next show. It's just like it is.
Lars, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me today, mate. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I look forward to the album, August 28th, everybody.
Hello, everybody. This is Lars from metalandorgan.com. And obviously I've just done the interview with Lars from Manticora, where we were talking about the book he's written, To Kill, To Live, To Kill. I always have to look it up because the title's confusing me, which obviously the new album and the previous one is based on. Now, Lars was kind enough to send me a copy of the book. There you are, see, it's attributed to both himself and to Manticora. I have read it, and I just wanted to give a quick review, which is to say that it's vivid, it's very vivid, it's very lively. It's probably one of the most gruesome books I've ever read, which might well be saying something. It's very interesting in the way that it captures the essence of almost nihilism in a way. It's that the hitman in the book is so just matter of fact about his job and never had any misgivings to begin with. So it's very interesting in that regard, that one can think of life so cheap, and which of course works in brilliantly for lyrics for heavy metal, because you can go to the extremes that you can't in other genres, and it works the same with book, and there'll be books that don't touch on this kind of thing. Like it says on the back here, it revolves around an ice-cold hitman, an ultra-violent psychopath, and a stunning Japanese sword with a bloody history. And the history of the sword is very interesting. Like I say, this is only a very short review because I don't really want to give much away. I think you should, if you're a reader, you should pick up the book yourself. Just give it a read through. It's about 330 pages or so, possibly even a little bit more than that. I know Lars said in the interview, but I haven't even edited that yet. So, but yeah, if you're a reader like a lot of metal fans are, and you want something that translates well from metal lyrics into the written word, then I do recommend To Kill, To Live, To Kill, because it is it's not one to read to the kids. It's well worth a read, indeed. So thank you very much for sticking around and checking out this bonus little book review. I hope you pick up the album as well, because I have listened to that, and it's almost as grisly as the book. So thank you very much, and look after yourselves.